Yes. Okay. Welcome. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, the 24th of July. We are having our final session on the Starknet Developer Basecamp, which is the Dojo. On Dojo, we are going to train about the on-chain gaming application built on Starknet. So we will have our trainer called Mr. Felix, who will take us through that session. We've not met him before, but he'll be walking us through that session. So feel relaxed. You are most welcome to drop your questions on the comment section if you like to join our studio. You can also show that interest so that we can share with you how to join our studio and ask the questions. So, without much further ado, I'll just welcome our trainer Dalmas first, who will again pass the microphone over to Felix at the appropriate time. So, yeah, keep locked also on the comment section as we'll be sharing more notes and more information there. Thank you. Over to you, Damas.
Thank you, Harriet. So, yeah, this is the last day of this Starknet Basecamp Starknet training with B-Chain. And today, the main theme will be covering Dojo. But before we go into Dojo, I'll be covering some portion I think I'd left out from the previous session that is on the front end. How can you interact with your contract on either Sepolia or mainnet? So I'll be covering that one. Then I will hand it over to Felix. So let's get started. Yeah. So this what we had this what we were supposed to finish on. That is an exercise to integrate the Plate smart contracts with the front end. We did integrate with the front end, but we integrated using DevNet. And if you do recall, DevNet uh, through DevNet, we were able to test out our contract. That is, read from the contract and write to the contract. That is now getting state updates and, of course, updating the smart contract itself. But I didn't really cover how can you now use your Bravos wallet or Agentx wallet in order to achieve the same. So I think I will switch my screens here. So this will what we'll be covering. So let me run my server. My server is running. I'll open it in I'll open the website here. So we have this Hello Starknet smart contract. If you do recall from the previous session, this is what we had. Of course, we bootstrapped this with Vite and React. And before we could just hit get balance and we get the balance. But so today, let's take it further ahead to connect a wallet. And from the connected wallet, we can be able to interact with our contract. So let's do some installation. And for this installations, I'll be using, or for this specific step, I'll be using Starknet Kit. So yarn add Starknet Kit. Always find the documentation under the Starknet Kit. Starknet Kit website. So starknetkit.com slash docs slash getting started. There you can install, they'll show you the installation process, yarn install Starknet Kit, and how you can connect to a given wallet and all that information. So we shall use this as our guide. We have Starknet Kit installed. I'll just hide this somewhere here so that it can get off our screen. Then we run the server yarn dev. Then I'll just increment or increase my font size a bit. Believe that one is visible enough, but if it's not, kindly shout out so that we can proceed to make it visible. So we had coded the account address and the private key into our source code, but we said this because it's just DevNet. On Sepolia, you are not going to do any of this. That's why we have installed Starknet Kit, so that you don't have to expose anybody's private key or address in your website, or you don't really have to add something like that into your uh, D app. So I'll simply comment them out and proceed to do the connection. I'm going to write a method const connect wallet, and this method will be the one called to connect a wallet. So let's create a button here quickly. So I'm going to copy this one of these buttons and come here. I'll do a div, and then the div add the button, and here I'm going to say something like connect wallet, and when somebody clicks this one, it's going to connect a wallet or call the connect wallet function that we have defined up here. So from this function, we are going to call the main connect function that is given by Starknet Kit. I've said we can be able to see that one here. So you are supposed to both connect and disconnect from Starknet Kit. So I'll copy this. Just a moment, I exit through. Yeah, I need to import them somewhere there. After you have done the importation, you need now to go ahead and call the connect wallet method. And here they have actually even written for you a simple function you can use. But for this case, I'm going to copy the underlying source code only. And I'm going to paste it here. And here it has await, so my function has to be async await connect. So I have called the connect method here that comes from Starknet Kit. Remember, it returns some values, but we have destructured them out to get the wallet specific. So otherwise, if you don't really want to just directly do that, you can do like this will be a connection object, and if you console.log out the connection object, for example, like that, you can be able to see more information about that given object. So I'll just also expand my console. So if I hit connect wallet, it's going to bring up a pop-up. I will need to enter my password. So that's my password. So you will get back a connector and a wallet, and of course the other methods for the normal object. But in this case, we have only extracted the wallet object, and this wallet object contains some values. For example, the account, the underlying account, the type of wallet connected. In this case, it's a Bravos wallet. So if you want to display like the Bravos logo whenever somebody has connected a Bravos account, that's how you get it. So you get the ID, and also you will get the provider under account. So here's where your provider is if you ever want to get access to the to a given provider. That's where you get your provider. Then I'll just proceed with what we have. So we have connection, but in this case I'll destructure the way they did, get my wallet from it, and then we need to set some variables. In this case we have set connection, set provider, and also set address. And we need to sort of track them up here. So I'll write them there. Const. The first one is wallet, or not really wallet, but rather connection. Set connection equals to use state. For this case, I'll start with null. I think I'm on GSX. Then after connection, we have provider, set provider. And lastly, we have address with a set address method. So this will track the different things. Here we have a provider, which is under, of course, wallet.account, and also something to do with the address itself. So we have all these parameters given whenever we are trying to connect a wallet, or we have set the parameters to the use state hook. So we are tracking the connection, the provider, and the address. But to avoid confusion for this case, I'm going to change the naming because that's what it's given is given in the documentation. Having them being like a set connection to wallet, and also set provider to wallet.account, set address to selected address. This looks modest, but I believe We don't need to have a confusion between a provider and an account. Of course, a provider can be an account. And there's that confusion that might arise. So I'm going to just rename a few variables. The first one uh, is the account or the provider. So I need to change this one to account specific, set account, and we had the connection one here. So this one should be set account, and we had the other one here called connection. For connection, I've reverted back to provider so that I can track out my provider separately. So set provider, and we have said the provider will be found under wallet dot account dot provider. But so let's just console log the wallet first again to confirm that one. So going back here, I'm going to hit connect wallet, and here we have a wallet. We have under wallet, we have provider. So I have just extracted the provider object from the wallet, which is connected, of course, to this node URL given here as starknet-sepolia.public.plast API, yeah, plast API.io. So they're using plast API as their default node URL. So I have all those separated. Reason as to why I like separating them: let everything play its role. If it's an account, let it be an account. If it's a provider, let it be a provider, to avoid any further problems. So we have this connect wallet uh, method that we call. We have connected a wallet and set these different values, but we also need to show the user that they have connected their wallet. How can we achieve that one? To achieve that one, we can look if there's an address set, then we display a different value. If there's no address set, then we can display connect wallet. So for this case, I'm going to use this JavaScript templating stuff here. So if there's an address, I want to display an address dot I can take something like a substring between 0 to maybe 10. I think let me put this here into that so that I can do like that and do the dots. Then I can connect my wallet like that, or show or display the message connect wallet. Otherwise, I display the message or the address, the connected address. So let's see what we have. So that's what we have, or it has already replaced. Otherwise, I want to use the same connect wallet method to disconnect the wallet whenever one clicks and they are connected. Though you might not need to do this, you might need to sort of find out a way of disconnecting your wallet. Here I'm going to write if there's an address, I want to call the disconnect wallet method, and also just break off. Also, otherwise proceed with the normal connection. That's it. So if there's an address, just disconnect. Otherwise, proceed with the connection. So if I hit this one, I think I might. It's sort of not disconnecting my wallet. Let me refresh my page to see the problem. Connect wallet. I want to connect Bravos. Then disconnect wallet is not disconnecting. Console.log. Here I'm going to write disconnecting to confirm that our method is hit. Yeah, it's disconnecting, but the address still remains. So I might need to set these values manually. So set account to null. I think this will quickly help. Set provider is the first one to null, and the set address to null, so that we get rid of the address. So like that. And then I can connect again. So that's how you do a simple wallet connection. You have done your wallet connection. Now you need to interact with your contract. Already we have the interaction methods. First, the get balance and the increase balance methods, but we need to deploy our contract to Sepolia. So I'll walk over to Stack Deployer and confirm whether I deployed the contract there. So under contracts, we had Hello Starknet 2 here. So I'll just hit interact. We have our two methods, increase balance. First, let's call the get balance method. we have a balance of 2. If we increase this by 1, so we sign this using bravos here, and we try to get balance. So we'll give it like 6 seconds. That's the time I have noticed it sort of takes for it to update the state. Now we have 3. So we have our ABI here. So you can copy the ABI using the copy button. Otherwise, for this case, we only want the address. So I'm going to copy my address and walk right into where we set up our contract address. So we set our contract address there. Then next we go here where we do get balance. And here we sort of initialize a new contract, the ABI with a contract address and a given provider. For this case, I'm going to check if there's a provider. So because we have set a provider from the connect wallet method here, I want to use the same provider, not like now the custom provider we are trying to create here. Though at some point you can still use this custom provider to do or create it and use it to use it when connecting a wallet. Here in connecting wallet, you can pass in more parameters. Let me delete this one, console here. Where we do connect, you can pass a parameter, I believe. Yeah, you can pass in a provider like this. So this will help you change like the default node URL you are using in your D app. Let's say you want to use one from Alchemy that you have paid for to get like more features, more or better results, or one from Nifura or Plus ABI or the paid version from Juno. So you can change it like that. So you change the provider in the connects method. This one will switch the underlying provider, so it won't use the default one given by the wallet. Then now we have a provider here. We are going to use the provider here to create the new contract. Same goes for the increase balance method. So I'll just copy my if statement there and paste it here. Then close the if statement at the end. So this to make sure we call our methods whenever we have like a provider set. Then here we are doing new account. But in this case, we are not just going to do like account like this. So we don't need this like raw account. When you are connecting your wallet, we said we get an account. That's what we said, wallet dot account here. That's what we got. So I'll just come here and use my account here instead. So in this case, you can check for if provider, but now you can check for if account. If there's an account, then proceed to do the other stuff. So I believe we have set that one up. I'll come here and try to now interact with our contract. So connect wallet, connect Bravos, get balance, response.flat is not a function, call data.pass. We are getting some error here. So it can be an error with what we have, or an error with our contract itself, or an error somewhere in between. So whenever you have like this kind of error, type error response.flat is not a function under call data.pass method. There's one thing we can do here to avoid having that one. And that one is here where we do call or the get balance method, we need to change the way it works. That's what's making it to sort of fail. And I think here is we have like a method like, is it pass? I'm not sure how to resolve this one. I have to refer this one, how to resolve this, but let's try out the increase method. I'll increase by 1. We did check here lastly, we had a balance of 3. So let's see what will happen here if we increase that one by 1, or whether it even works. So we click that one and it will just say something like that, and then we sign this one. So if I sign that one, error reference provider is not defined. We are getting an error with the provider is not defined. Just a moment, I confirm where we have provider. Okay, provider dot wait for transaction is the problem. So change that one to provider, dot wait for transaction. Otherwise, we have already made the call. So if I make a call here, we expect a 4, which works as expected. Except the get balance method now is failing terribly. Let me try to look at my other methods or my other implementations to confirm why it fails or to find a solution to it. So I'll walk to the deploy itself and SRC pages under DevNet, then contract, DevNet function page. So I might have changed the way I do the call, load call func name. Yeah, so this is the so-called pass response true or false. I think that's what I had. I'll try to use that the same one here. So get balance, we don't have like call data parameters. So not there. Here we don't have like call data parameters. We try with these other options here, that is past response to true, and see what we have. So get balance, invalid number of arguments expected, 0 arguments, but you got 1. Don't know. Okay, can I pass null here instead? This weird. So const call data equals to call, I think it's contract dot pass, now populate transaction, let the not transaction really. Let's just get this one here. Yeah, it's just populate. Then the method, then the parameters. Yep. The method that we want to populate is called get balance, and we are populating it with just 0 arguments, so that I can call data dot call data like that. Let's see whether this one will opt to work or it will also fail. Yeah, response dot flat. Now that one works, so we'll just switch this one to false and get balance. So it's going to say not a number because it expected a number, but then it didn't receive a number. So let's look at what we received. I'm going to console log the res. So that we see the result. So this kind of error comes whenever you have it will return an array with 0x4. This will come up whenever you are trying to pass, or you might encounter this error where your method is unable to pass the parameters or pass the parameters given, and I don't know why this sometimes pops up and sometimes it doesn't. But I've tried to solve it before, so it can be the version of Starknet JS you are using or something related like that. So I have pass response here, and this one seemed to have worked well. So I'll just try to check the version of Starknet JS I had. So I'll go back to SRC, then package.json. Oh yeah, let's confirm the version. Not now. Okay, this weird. Starknet 6.9.0. So let's confirm the version of Starknet we have on our side. 6.11.0. So let me just downgrade, and it might be the same for you. You might encounter these errors. So switching versions, yarn add Starknet. Is it using at 6.9, 6.9.0? The other solution is to just update this one here to 9, then everything will work well. Yeah, so let's try it out again. But in this case, now we pass the response. So connect my wallet, then get balance. Response.flat is not a function. Let me just refresh this page. Why is this sort of big error? So let me just reload the ABI here first and copy the ABI given to my abi.js file. I have encountered the error before, but I don't know why now. Just decided not to work out well. So we'll reload the page, connect my wallet, then try get balance, still getting the same error. So that can be a bit problematic sometimes. You expected to get something, but finally everything is just failing. Like this portion is failing for my case. So what I'll do, I'll try to resolve this one manually, but it might not be the best way in the long run. So I think I have some mismatch of values here and there, which I'm not sure why it's unable to pass the response. Now we know the response or our response is under, so a const, I'll just write this one down, result hex equals to res.result index 0. That's where our response is, because that's what we get. Dot result, it's an array. Index 0, we get a hex value. So you will need to convert this response hex to a number. I don't have the method right in my fingertips, but I can get it somewhere. To config utils. Okay, yeah. You can use the dot to string method to have that one fixed. Beginner, okay, that's too long. I need to an address. Yeah, so can try to immediately write dot to string of base 16 there, and I try to see the result. Res hex, but still this one will sort of not really need the on this. Let's see, directly set it here. Okay, 0x4, is that the result? Big number to this value dot to string again. Okay. Yep. Let's see what we have here. It will fail because of the other portion. Connection failed. Why did the connection fail? Connect the wallet, get balance. Yeah, so this one has converted it well to 4. So we can increase the balance again to a 5. So we'll give it a few seconds, about 6 seconds. Then get balance, now we have a 5. Though, as I've said, this might not be like the right or the correct way to avoid passing the response. So I think either this version of Starknet JS I have installed or something just failed somewhere. So to just make sure I have everything good, so I'll just have to reinstall my version, my yeah. I'll have to reinstall the packages again, then confirm that I don't really need to pass the response in order to get or to avoid using this past response option. Because if you have an object, you can't like just be able to solve it down by removing the pass response or shutting down the passing of the response. Things will be quite difficult. So console.log the res. Let's see what we have. Okay, I don't have a provider, get balance, call error, response.flat is not a function. Okay, yeah, I don't know why it keeps popping up. For now, we'll go with this quick fix. This is a quick fix, but it won't be good for production. You have to find like a fixed solution for the same. So set balance, new res. In this case, I've taken the hex string, converted it to a readable number using the dot to string method, then reading the value. So I don't know whether this will be correct if we increase this balance by like a larger number. So let's see whether by 10 will be 15. Otherwise, our method will be not working. So we give it a few more seconds. So we have our events, of course, written here. Then we try to get the balance. We have our 15. Yeah, it seems to work. Then we can say we are good to go. But if it doesn't work for other large numbers, for example, token values, you might opt to find a better working solution. Because, for example, token value can have up to 18 or 24 decimals. So passing it like this might fail. But I believe if you have your environment set up when you are doing your setup, then things will be easier for you. So it might be Starknet. This version has the issue, or somewhere in between there's an issue, or the way you have your provider setup. That can also adapt to be one of the issues. Yeah, so that's how you do the interaction or the connection on Sepolia or on mainnet. So if you go to mainnet, what you'll need to change is the contract address to the mainnet contract address. So for that, I'll just quickly have that one up because we are in a position to do it. So I'll go home. I'm going to deploy a new contract, but for this case, I'm going to switch to mainnet and I switch my wallet also to mainnet and I try deploy a contract there. So Starknet mainnet, then connect. I'll connect to Bravos. Then here I'm going to say hello Starknet mainnet. Select my. So we have the front end. So I'll go back to the hello Starknet contract, target dev, hello Starknet, the compiled contract class, and also I pick uh, the contract class for Sierra. Have those, then delete the no call data for our constructor declare. Then once that one's declared, I have my class hash there, so deploy. So it will tell us something like class hash is not declared. Reason being, once you do like a declaration, give it the same seconds, about 6 seconds, for it to finish the transaction. If I look at my wallet here, the transaction is still like running, not yet finalized or reached at a point where it is like done on L2, because to L1 it takes several other hours. So it has been finalized. I can proceed now to deploy. It's the same class hash, of course, so I can hit deploy. Now the class hash is declared, then I can deploy. So once it's deployed, don't know what really happened there. Okay, I need to go to interact. I need to connect my Bravos wallet, but on mainnet, uh, you have selected Sepolia, but your wallet is at Sepolia. Why is it my wallet is at Sepolia? And it's not like finishing the connection. Already bit finish 0x. Okay, that's just finished. So we have our mainnet function here. If I try to get balance, we have 0. Increase balance, I want to increase by 1. So I'll do that and send the transaction because the contract is not declared, it can be able to find it. I have 0, of course. We give it a second as we have increased it by 1. We wait like for the transaction to sort of be read, finalized on L2. So this one is taking a little bit longer, don't know why, but it can happen if so we have our one there, meaning we have our contract working on mainnet. So I can copy the contract address from there, paste it here. So I can comment out that one. Const contract address equals to that. So we have that one as our mainnet contract address. Then it means whenever we come to our wallet here, we need to connect the mainnet wallet. So here you see I've selected mainnet. So if I try to get balance, we expect to see a 1. And if we increase that one by 10, of course, it will take us to the wallet to sign. And we do a signing. Then if we get the balance, now it will the balance to 11, but we give it a time for the transaction to be finalized. So we can say that's how you do interaction for Sepolia and the mainnet. Just change the contract address. The ABI will be the same, and the method that you have called will relatively remain the same. So far, we haven't really changed anything here much. The only thing I changed was this method here. Reason being, the get balance couldn't pass the values, and I ended up doing like pass response to false in order for it to first execute correctly and not like fail and throw out an error because it couldn't pass the response. So that is for interaction. If there is any question, kindly drop it so we can like take a look or answer it. Otherwise, that's the same interaction. So get balance, there we have our 11. And if I go to this main interaction here, get balance should show us a B. So this like showing us just like that. So that B is 11. It's a big int. Of course, we have there our 11. So that's it for the interaction on Sepolia and mainnet. I've taken like longer than expected because I didn't expect to have my function failing here. But yeah, if there are no questions, then I'll hand it over to Felix to take us through Dojo. So Dojo was the main theme of today, but I realized that I missed it to tackle this. So that's why I had to tackle it before we head into Dojo. So Felix, the floor is yours. Kindly, you can get started. So I'll just drop off my presentation to allow you to proceed. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take over from Dalmas. Thank you, Dalmas. Today we're going to be talking about uh, Dojo. So, yeah, so what is Dojo? So we can define Dojo as a approvable engine for for an ease in creating for an ease in developing games in the Starknet ecosystem. So it's kind of an open source framework for building provable games, autonomous worlds, and other applications that are composable, extensible, and permissionless. So we can say that the purpose of Dojo is to simply simplify the development, deployment, and management, and to also ensure game integrity and transparency. Another purpose is to enable permissionless evolving protocols. So we would come across a question whereby we could be asked, what is the use case of Dojo? So the main use case of Dojo is to build on-chain games and also to implement game mechanics with smart contract. And of course, the third but not least use case is to create an interactive gaming experience. Now, we want to talk about now the brief history and evolution of Dojo. So, as we all know that Dojo has come through from a standalone games to online multiplayer games, and it is kind of helping us to transition to blockchain gaming. So, it is not it is not just NFTs alone when you talk about Dojo. We can also integrate token economics. You could also play to earn uh, on Dojo. So
Felix,
yes,
yeah, just a moment. I can't really confirm whether your slides are visible to uh, on YouTube. So I could suggest you sort of stop sharing, then share them again so that they can load onto YouTube.
okay. Let me stop sharing and let me present again. Um, okay. Can you see my screen now?
And not yet. It's not yet
Okay.
here. Yeah, it's loading. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Great. Now let's continue. So
okay,
uh,
just a moment. I'm not sure why it's not sending them over to YouTube, though on our StreamYard it's visible. At Harriet, can you be able to confirm that? Okay, nice. Yeah, you can proceed. Now they're here.
all right. So one of the advantages of Dojo is that we do have a standardized development experience. It is easier. It is an easier establishment of on-chain state. It is also a comprehensive developer tooling, and the best reason is that it minimizes boilerplate code. This means that you can actually it saves you time to write that too much code uh, that you could have written when implementing gaming manually. So we want to go through the step-by-step installation guide. So bear with me. This is gonna be practical, practical oriented. So uh, to install Dojo or to set up the Dojo environment, first and foremost, we need to make sure that we have installed Rust and Cargo. So, so to install Rust, you can read more about installing Rust in their page, which is in their Rust book page. So to install Rust, basically all you need to do is to just copy this command here and paste it in your terminal. in my case, I already have Rust installed. So basically, it's gonna take something like it's gonna take a short time to install. So once you do that, you're just gonna press enter, and everything should be able to work for you. So once you've been able to install Rust and install Rust and Cargo, the next thing we need to do is to install Starknet DevNet. Now, since we are dealing with since we are dealing with the Dojo, the best DevNet to normally use for Dojo is Katana. So to install Katana, we're gonna go to okay, we're gonna go to Starknet book. So Starknet book also the documentation is kind of visible for us. So once you're in Starknet book, we just look at the tooling and we're gonna find uh, Katana waiting for us. So to install Katana is also kind of the same as installing Rust. So you just copy this command here and paste on your terminal, and then you're gonna wait for it to install. And then the last thing that we need to install is the Dojo itself. So to install the Dojo itself, that can also be found in the Dojo, Dojo, the Dojo documentation, whereby when you go to docs, we're just going to hop to getting started, and then you're going to copy this command, which is similarly the same as the other ones. So once you are done with once you have copied this, you'll paste it in your terminal. You paste it in your terminal, and then you're gonna install. In my case, mine is already installed. So once you've installed, you just want to
Excuse me,
run.
Felix.
Yes.
Probably you can make your font a little bolder, a little bigger. It's not visible.
All right. For the terminal, are you able to see the terminal? Is that okay?
Increase a little more.
Uh,
Yeah, that's okay now. Thank you.
okay. Let's continue. So once you've installed Dojo app by copying this command line, this curl command line here. So you're basically going to run this to update to the latest Dojo version. So there are several methods to install Dojo. There is the use of SDF also here, or you could go directly to their GitHub repository and clone it from there. But the easiest one is if you want to get started real quick, you can use this curl. So after that, you are going to install. Sorry about that. After that, you are going to set up VS Code. So to set up VS Code, basically, when you install Dojo, it comes with four. Okay. So basically, when you install Dojo, you find out that it do comes with four, of its toolkits. For instance, now in my terminal, I do have Dojo installed. So if I want to check the version, I would just do Dojo version. Uh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, let's continue. So Dojo comes in four divisions. We have Tori, we have Sozo, we have Origami, and we have Slot. So okay. So for I'm going to explain these. Let me just open my Visual Studio Code. So with me here, I have like a new, I have like a new boilerplate, like a new template that I just created using Sozo init. So to create a new template, what you normally do when you open your terminal, you can just uh, you can just do Sozo init. Do Sozo init, and then you write down the file name. So for instance, mine was bootcamp. It was able to bring up the file. So we're going to perform a cleanup. When we look at this file structure, we find out that there is models and there is systems. So what is a model? A model is just basically like a model is just like a struct that you learned earlier in Cairo. Uh, so like for instance, this is a model. A model is used to store the state of the smart of the Dojo application. So we also have something here known as the systems. So the systems, you can regard systems as take an example of now the smart contract, the simple smart contract that you do write on Starknet. So that is the systems now. When you check on the systems, you find out that we do have this decorator uh, that is known as the Dojo contract, and then of course the functions are defined by the Dojo interface, just like the previous Cairo that we've always learned. Then if we look at the functions that we are exposing again, we can find out that there are some similarities here of ABI embed v0, and so we have these functions. So today we're going to create a very simple game. But before I do that, we're just going to clean up. I'm going to delete this file. Sorry, I'm going to delete this, uh, and then I'm going to delete that, so that we remain with I only want to remain
Okay,
with the list of
Felix.
Cairo.
Uh, yeah,
Yes.
as you are on deleting some or doing some cleanup, I'd like to talk a little bit about Katana and Starknet DevNet. So the other time we were using Starknet DevNet as our local testing environment, and we have this other tool that you have, Felix has mentioned here, called Katana. So for those who are new, Katana is like Starknet DevNet, but that was another version that we were using before. The current version, that Starknet DevNet, has more features and is more inclined to the app development or the app development. Katana is good when you are doing Dojo game development. So with Dojo game development, you use Katana. It's also a local node written in Rust, same as Starknet DevNet Arrays. That's the one that we installed and used. But we also had Starknet DevNet Pi, but all of those we just moved and used Starknet DevNet, not Katana, not Starknet DevNet Python. You can also use Katana for local testing. So that if you want to test out using Katana, the same D app that we had, the Hello Starknet, you can use Katana to do the same. Yeah. Felix, you can proceed.
Okay, nice. So today we are going to create a very simple game. So the idea of this game, let me just show you in the browser how this game is going to work. So this is like it's more of a a color grid game. So whatever happens here, okay, let's just give it time to load. Yeah. So whatever happens here is just that we do have some pre-deployed accounts. So what is going to happen is that you just select a color, and then you point to any unmarked coordinate, for instance that one, and it's going to be marked. So you select a blue, you just point to any unmarked coordinate like there, and it's going to be mapped. So basically, this is the idea. It could be a multiplayer game, because whatever is happening here, you'll realize that they are kind of asynchronous. It's kind of asynchronous. So it doesn't really need a browser refresh to handle it. So back to our simple smart contract, we are going to start with creating our models. So for our models, we are going to have the player model, and we are also going to have the player model. We're going to have the tile model. Yeah, so we're going to have two models. So first of all, we want to start by creating the player model. So to create the player model, or rather to create a model, we need to apply some decorators before we create our struct. So we're going to start by applying derive, uh, copy, drop, and start. So yeah, we're basically implementing the copy trait, the drop trait, and the serializable search trait. And then, of course, we need to let the engine know that this kind of struct that we are going to create is a model. So what do? We create another decorator below it and just do a dojo model like that. So once we do that, we're going to have our struct. We name it struct player, and then so we realize that each and every model must always have a key decorator. So a key decorator is used to identify each and every model once it has been deployed on chain. Remember, this is just like an extension. It gives the smart contract some extensions or some more functionalities. So at the key, whatever we are going to make as our key in our player, of course, will be the contract address. So we just say, you understand that this contract address type is coming from Starknet. And then, of course, our player, our player is going to assume an ID of U32. And we need to know the last action of the player. This is going to be stored as U64. So once we do that, we just want to generate trait for this particular struct, because we need a function, we need a method for that player. So we're going to generate trait. Okay, autocomplete. So we're going to generate trait like that, and then you're going to do implement player trait of, implement player IMPL of player trait like that. So once I have that, we are going to we want to check if the player is eligible to play, because remember, it's a situation of two players, because remember, in our front end I showed you two colors, red or blue. So you want to check whether the red can play or whether the blue can play. So what do? I just write a function to check if it can place, like that. So this function is going to check self and player, and then it's going to run through a condition whereby we say if the caller address uh, minus the cannot really caller address but timestamp, sorry, if the block timestamp minus uh, the last action is equal to or is less than time between actions between actions. So this time between actions, this is a constant that I want to create here on top. So I'm just gonna create it before I continue. So I'll say const time between actions is equal to let's give it 120. I think 120 is a good one. It's like some 1 to 2 minutes like this. So I mean, yeah. So we're going to write something like we just want to panic and say that not enough time has passed since the last action. So we're going to save that and then we shall continue. So the next model, we still have one remaining model to create, and this model is known as tile. So for tile, again, what do we do when we create models? We just use the decorators we use on top here. So we say derive, copy, drop, add. And then after writing derive like that, we are going to tell the engine that this is a model, like that. So once we do that, we just want to write below it that tile. So this tile, it is kind of having a complex identification. Remember, each and every model must have a key. So this one has a key, but more of it has two keys, so it has some complex identification. So we have X to be use 16, and we have Y. Sorry, we have Y to be also use 16. So these X and Y, these are the coordinates that these are now the result of those coordinates that you are seeing there as you are selecting. Now these coordinates, let me just open my browser once again. So we have this represents X, this represents Y. For instance, this one represents X, this one represents Y. So let us continue. So once we have that, we need to give the coordinate a color. So we will update it with a color. So the color takes in a felt 252, like that. So we've created our player model. We've created our child models. Our child model. So once you're done with the models, now we want to go to the systems. So for systems, like I said when introducing Dojo, systems is just like take an assumption as if you are writing the normal smart contract in normal Starknet. Now the same way now this one you're now writing a smart contract in Dojo, and even if we check out the naming convention, you find out that the same thing applies. So when you go to systems, we will move to we will move to we want to create our interface first of all. So let me just comment their systems. So first of all, we want to start by defining the Dojo interface like that. So what happens here? So in the Dojo interface, we do have a decorator that is just done like that interface. So this just tells the engine that whatever we want to do here, this is now a Dojo interface. So this is going to assume the name of iActions, and then here I'm going to have just two functions. I'm going to have a function to spawn, sorry, and then I'm going to have a function to paint. So a function to spawn just starts the game, and then a function to paint is whatever I've been doing here in the browser. So whenever I click that, you find out that a function to paint has been initialized. Whenever I click this one, it says that a function to paint has happened. So let us go back to the code and continue. So once we are here, we now want to move to our contract. So for our contract, we'll just do another decorator here. Name it Dojo contract. So this tells the engine that whatever we want to write here is now the contract. So this is where all the functionality of your game, everything that the way now you want the game to behave is going to be included now inside this Dojo contract. So just gonna create a mod here, give it actions like that, and then I'm going to use super super actions. So after that, we also want to import some Starknet functionalities. So I'm just going to use Starknet contract address, and then get caller address, and then also we need to get block timestamp. So these functionalities are really going to be very powerful when we are dealing with our smart contract. So once I have imported that, now we want also to include these two models of ours that we built when we were starting here. So I'm just gonna say use super, and then I'm gonna point to tile, and then so this will take now the struct of tile like that, and also player is going to take the player struct like that. So once we have made our importations, now it is now time for writing, or rather time for implementing our functions. So to implement our functions, we're just going to do API just the way we will do it on the other side. Embed v0 like that. So once we've done that, we are going to do IMPL, I actions, IMPL of I actions. So we wanna give it contract. Sorry, it is actually contract state. Okay, the complete is trying to mess up with me. Okay, so once we have that, we're going to start with our first function, which is fn_spawn. So fn_spawn is basically going to take a word, a word, a word, a word dispatcher. So this is basically each and every contract we are deploying is will be marked as an extension of a word dispatcher. So like each and every contract that we are deploying, there will be an extension of the word. So we are just going to do a word here, and then we're going to give it an I word dispatcher. An I word dispatcher like that. So I will open that like that. So first of all, we want to start by creating the address of the current player. So the address of the current player in this case, we just do let address is equal to get caller address. Where is this get caller address coming from? It is this one that we imported on top here. And then we do want to retrieve the player's current position now from the world. So we want to retrieve the player's current position from the world like that. So where is this one coming from? We're just going to say let player is equal to world dot uuid. So uuid is just a function to retrieve the player's current position in the world. Remember that this contract is just an extension of the world. So once we do have that, we now want to get the properties of the existing player. There's something that I didn't tell you. We do we do have get functions and set functions. So when you want to get the properties of model, this is how you're gonna do it. In that case, I'm just going to say something like let. So this one you're getting the existing player. So we'll say let existing player is equal to get. So this is like a macro. So the first parameter of this function is the word, as you all know, and then we just want the caller address, and then after the caller address, we do. Why do you think we use the caller address here? Because that is what was regarded as the key on top here. So to get this player, we need to get the address. So luckily for us, we'll be able to get that player. So once we have that, we want to assert. We want to assert if the last action of the player is actually a zero. So what do I mean when it is actually a zero? When it is actually a zero, So this is the last action. So when it is actually a zero, remember this was a timestamp. So in that case, it is trying to tell us that the timestamp was not recorded for this particular player. Hence, that player has not played yet. So that is what we want to check here. So how am I going to do it? I'm just going to assert, and then I'm going to say existing player dot existing player dot last action is equal to 0. So to check that the player has not yet played. So if if this doesn't meet that condition, then this is what is supposed to. We just do some log here. We say that the player already exists. Player already exists. So once we have that, we want to set the last action. Uh, so now this one now is a new variable that we are now creating here. Remember, this was a property of this existing player. So now this one that we are creating here, we just want to assign it to the latest block timestamp, like that. So once we have something like that, now we also have a function to set, a function now to change a model, or rather to change the properties of a model in Dojo or in World. So what are we going to do? We're just going to write set like that and do of course the first parameter will be world. What follows world? The player. So this player takes address. It takes address. Now the get caller address there. Then it takes the player, the UUID of in the world, and then it takes the last action. The last action. So this is just the address is this one. The player is the world UUID. We are now updating it here, and then the last action is this timestamp coming from this property over there. So once we have that, we are done with our spawn function. So the next function that we are going to do is going to be a function to paint. So what happens in the paint function? So in the paint function, I'm just, of course, going to reference field to the world as the parameter. So you can assume world as to be like the self colon contract state that is normally used in the in the normal writing of smart contracts. So now in this case, now it will be now world colon I world dispatcher. So that is what I'm going to write here. I world dispatcher. So remember it was paint. Paint was taking, I didn't put the parameters here. Let me just put them. Okay. So paint was taking here X to be U16, Y to be U16, and color to be 252. Nice. So we do the same thing here. X to be U16, Y to be U16, and color to be felt to 52. So once you do that, we want to open curly braces so that we can do our painting now. So for our painting, we just want to get the color address first. So we want to define let address is equal to get color address like that. So for the address, we are going to say let player. We want the player now is equal to get. So what are we going to get? The world, and then address, and then player. Okay, so they made some mistakes here. Let me just correct it before I forget. Nice. So we do have that. So once you've gotten that player, we just want to assert. Now the player dot address, is it the same as the caller address? Is it the same as the caller address? If yes, continue with the transaction. If no, we just want to create some notification here saying that this guy is not a player. So this is a failed. This one is a failed. So I think yeah, like that. So once we have that one, we now want to set. Once everything has passed until the assertion, now we want to set. We now want to change the state of the model in the world. So what do? We just write set like that, and then world. So this word is going to take. Remember the tile that we created. This one. It had two keys. We want to consider it below here. So we're going to say tile. Then say tile. This tile takes x, y, and color. Where are they coming from? First, they're coming from the parameters x coming from here, y is coming from here, and color is coming from this point. Now, okay, I guess our contract is ready, and time to compile it to check whether we have some errors. So I'm just going to open our terminal, and then in our terminal, I'm just going to type in Sozo build. So we're going to write Sozo build. Of course, we do have okay. Where is that one come from? Followed by a type line number 4. This one is a U. This is a U64. The U64. What else do we have?
Missing semicolon.
Where? Oh, there. Yes, and then where else? Font felt to. Okay, I think expected a constant font function line 44. Where is that one? Dojo. I think everything is okay. Let's just run compile again. Okay. Okay, we still Expected a variable or a constant from the function. Mhm. Mhm. Mm, what is that? Dojo. Okay. Uh, let's see. Dojo. Like annotations needed. Super directions. Visual interface is okay. We have this found function here, paint function. Mm, color 52. It's weird. Okay. So,
I can see it saying type annotations needed. Failed
where is
24. Oh,
that?
that was
Line,
error.
line
Not
44.
sure. Yeah, line 44 seems to be having some issue. Yeah, line 44 type annotations, Dojo contract. Uh,
Dojo contract.
Anything that needs to be added in SCAP toml file, or you would already have had that one?
Okay, my scrub.toml file is okay.
Okay.
Um, my scrub.toml file is okay. So what did
Okay,
I
can you do
miss?
like a scab clean to just make sure you don't have anything built that's giving us.
Scrub clean. So clean. Okay. Kinda giving me the target, but it's failing at the same time. Line 44. Dojo contract. Oh, okay. Dojo interface. Dojo contract is super actions. Apply actions contract stage. Mhm.
Can I see the structs?
Mhm.
Okay, Dojo model, copy drop, that Sade, and why is it not? Okay, that one seems to be hidden somewhere.
Is not behaving.
That's decided to do hide us, but let's try fix it.
Okay. All right. Mhm. Okay. And between that one is 64. Mm, Player. This one is okay. Mm, I'm still trying to check where I went wrong in the top here. Mhm. Starknet Enterprises. There you capital transaction is 64. Hmm. Super tired. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, so let's take this and mm,
Then it means the error is not emitted from that specific line. It's emitted somewhere else. So
yeah,
in the interfaces, yeah, I think, yeah, in the interfaces, line 40 and 41, do you need to pass in the ref to the iWorld dispatcher? Yeah, I think you will need it. Yeah, ref world, line 40 and 41, in the spawn and the paint functions. Or,
really. Okay. The previous one, okay, I don't think so, but let's just try.
yeah, that should be a reference to that, because I think it's editable down.
Uh, uh,
Okay, same issue.
no,
Can you scroll here? The error, wrong number of arguments expected to found one under Dojo contract.
it's because we've added the ref word.
Oh, okay.
As for Dojo doesn't accept them in the beginning. Trying to
Oh,
figure out.
okay.
Uh,
Then it gives an error. So,
okay, expected a variable or constant found function. Expected a variable or constant found function. Where was that?
can you rename line 45? Instead of mod actions,
Expected.
call it something else. Mod my contract. Let's see. It might be the one bringing issues.
Mm,
Still same issue. Okay.
where am I not seeing that function? Expected a constant found a function. Where is it? Okay, let me just look quickly. I think it is coming from inside this contract.
Okay.
Starknet contract address. Get colored as development. Okay. Models. Super. Sorry.
What is the introspect? What does the introspected trait do? Okay. Leave it alone.
Just trying something. There's a the issue. All right. Mhm. It's fine. X U16, Y U16. There's a cube. There's another cube. Mm, color X, Y, color. Okay. ABI. Um, then E0 is weird. Okay, let me comment this. I see where the error is coming from. Just trying something. Yeah. Mm, I think the error is coming from this smart contract. It's something that
Yeah, it's coming with from
is
with.
coming from within. So let me try. Mhm. Super. Okay, just a moment. Let me see if I can. This can solve the issue. So your actually type annotations needed. Line 44.
The error can't be around there. It only hits it because it couldn't get into it, meaning the error is coming from somewhere. Let's see the structs. Let's just go through the structs again. Confirm. The first one we have a U64. That's 120. Then derive copy drop on Saturday model. The key is Starknet contract address. Can you, instead of doing Starknet contract address like that, just use import it up there, like use Starknet contract address, and we just apply contract address there.
Oh, you
Meaning,
suggesting I put it?
yeah, you just
Okay,
first import it, use Starknet contract address, and we only use contract address at line 10. Yeah.
all right. So yeah, it is contact address.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Okay, you can try run it. Same error.
Same error. Line 44. But why is it? I think the era is just revolving around this smart contract. Trying to figure out. Mm,
Okay, yeah, it could be.
contract state. Oh, sorry. I think it's coming from that. Mm, it's not even that one.
So you have said you don't need to pass in the way we normally build our contract where we just say, for example, ref self t contract state. You don't need the iWall dispatcher.
No, we don't need that.
Okay.
So let's dispatch.
Failed to unify
Okay,
is the
there's
problem. Time type annotations needed. So it's like unable to infer something somewhere.
uh,
So address return something, existing player, get a given player.
file address. Really, so where is it coming from?
Okay. So since we cannot be able to troubleshoot the error right now, uh, I could suggest you sort of proceed to the front end and explain how the front end now is linked to this kind of contract. Then I believe it's something small that we cannot locate right now. So I believe, or the solution will come as you go on.
Okay, sure. So we're going to move to the client. So for the client, we do have it is kind of written in TypeScript. So let me just start from here. So first of all, we do have to import some use component value and use entity query from Dojo engine React, and then we have to import the entity has value from Dojo engine Rex. So of course we need the use effect, use state, and use memo. These are the normal React hooks that we know, and we also need some utility to get entity ID from the keys, and then we need use Dojo and short string property from Starknet. So first and foremost, we're going to we're going to start by creating we created a cell. This cell takes in an object of x, y, and color, whereby x is a number, y is a number, and color is a string. So when uh, we set up the client's components to be the child. This style is coming from this style is coming from the smart contract, and then of course we set it up to client. So for the account, we are using we kind of deployed it to a platform known as Slots. Slot is an alternative to Starknet DevNet. I mean to Sepolia, whereby now in this case you are using pre-deployed accounts to run these transactions. We are not using our wallets. So from there, Uh, we had a tile function with the component value tile, and of course it's getting its keys. These are just TypeScript annotations. So we have the X value, Y value, and color. So whatever we return, so every time, anytime a click is made, we do the actions from client. So this paint function is basically the paint function that was coming from this side. So it's gonna be client.actions.paint. So we paint to, of course, the first parameter represents the person doing the transaction, and then the x represents the x coordinate, the y represents the y coordinate, and the color represents the color that was chosen in the beginning. So like in this case, you find out that when I click on this one, when I choose a color, for instance, color red, it paints red. When I choose blue, it paints to blue like that. So it relies on the chosen color. So after creating that, this is basically the division that has been clicked, that is going to perform this kind of action. So of course we have our app function here, just having some constant variables that are coming from the use dojo that we imported on top. Of course we need to track the clipboard status, and then we also need to know whether the player query is available. So we do have our function to set color here. So for instance, not it's kind of a set variable for a color and a set color. And then of course we have our player variable using the component value of player. So uh, when you go to grid, this is just a for loop. As you can see, we do have two for loops here. So of course the first one goes this way, the second one goes this way. So this is how this user interface was actually created, or rather this grid that we see here. So it's kind of there. We just looked the values to the grids. So we do have a function to handle restore banners, though we have not used it. Here. So we also have a use effect function that just clears the clipboard status, and then it kind of clears the message after that. So for the accounts, or rather for the select signer, these accounts are assumed to be pre-deployed on the slot network. So I'm not sure whether why they were not supposed to be displayed here, but I'm going to check on that. Uh, so we do have, of course, we do have a function to spawn. So as you can see, this button was already clicked. That is why you can see I tried making some couple interactions with this smart contract. So after that, we do have a button that tells us to select whether the color is red or whether the color is blue. So If the color is red, um, when you select a red color and you click on here, it paints red. So it's just storing the red to the state. When you select blue and you click there, it paints blue. So it just selects blue to the state. Then yeah, so that's all about the main part of the front end. These others are just they're just templates that have been generated by the Dojo front end. Yeah, so I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this repo. I'm going to upload this to my GitHub, and then I'm going to share that repo. Then for the error I'm facing here, I'm going to debug it and see where the error was coming from, and then I'm gonna update in the group. So yeah, that's all about Dojo. Unless somebody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix, for taking us through the Dojo setup or the Dojo implementation. And I believe this is like just a start or a nice start that will help you get started in developing games using Dojo. The contract we were working on or we were using in this case sort of got a small bug, and I can say for free, Cairo has some hidden good bugs. So only because you either missed something or you cannot locate whatever you missed. Uh, but it will be fixed, and you'll have the source code under the video description. So after the end of the video, check the description. It will be updated with the right source code or what the bug was and how it was resolved. I think that will help very much for somebody who might face the same issue. Another thing, this shows you where to get started, and I believe take your time. If you are a game builder, somebody who is familiar with the Unity, there are Unity SDKs for the same that will help you develop a game. I can only encourage you to proceed, try out Dojo in game development on Starknet. Why Dojo? Dojo helps bundle up those small transactions, because whenever you write to your contract, you have to finally sign that transaction. So Dojo helps minimize or bundle those transactions. Then once you push, you only like sort of I think sign a single transaction. I'm not sure whether at the end you'll even need to sign a transaction, but it just takes these transactions away from you. It sort of cuts them, so you don't have to have the pop-up, sign a transaction, then make another move. So that's a simple intro to Dojo. I don't know whether there are questions. If there are, I encourage one to post them. But for now, I'll invite Harriet to say something as we prep for another thing that will be happening tomorrow. So, Harriet, if you're up.
Oh, thank you. There was a question somebody asked, will we learn about Starkly? I think that's the command line for Stark.
Did we learn about Starkly? Okay. So we didn't cover Starkly. I think I did mention it when we were doing the setup and all those. So I did say Starkly, like a Sendcast, is a command line tool to help you like interact with your contract or interact with the end contract, be it on DevNet, Mainnet, or Sepolia. Starkly is similar to that, except for my case, the reason as to why I had taken or chosen to go with Starknet Foundry Sendcast tool is because a Sendcast tool is sort of more easier to use as compared to Starkly itself. So writing a simple command in Starkly can be quite long sometimes, unless now you know how to fully use environment variables. So that one will be a, a quick kill for you. But if you are not familiar with environment variables, then writing some long commands can be hectic and can lead to some issues. For example, you might add a bug to your command and hence everything fails continuously and you can never tell what really went out. That's Starknet. So Starknet is another tool like SNCast or SNForge rather. They can be, I think those are two tools to present this other one here. So it's the main tool actually given by Starknet, the Starknet CLI. Another thing over on the same, in this case we have used the Katana. So Katana is another local development node. I did mention that one. Same as Starknet DevNet, Rust, and Starknet DevNet Python. Starknet DevNet Python was deprecated some time back, I believe a few months back, maybe five, actually, it was deprecated, I think, last year, but it has been, some people have been using it to this year. That's Starknet DevNet Python. Then Starknet DevNet RS took over. It has more functions in terms of, like, it sort of almost replicates the mainnet or a Sepolia testnet. So you have more a good environment to test locally using Starknet DevNet RS. So Dojo was developed initially on Katana. I'm not sure whether they are migrating to Starknet DevNet RS, but relatively they might be migrating to DevNet RS to, to at least to have a unified development environment. So you don't need to develop on Katana when doing game. And when you are developing your normal D app, you need to have Starknet DevNet. I believe that will be unified soon. Uh, okay, yeah, that's about Starkly. So Starkly, we didn't really talk much about it, but I'll still provide some link. Like software development, where should use the Starkly to interact with my contract. So somebody, uh, yeah, Starkly and the Katana in one page. Yeah, so if you check this out, it will have both a Starkly and a Katana being used. So yeah, I've posted it in the live chat there. So you can use like, that's when I use the bot. Yes, Harriet.
Oh yeah, thank you, Dalmas. Thank you, Felix, for that session on winding up smart contract frontend and Dojo. Actually, today was the final class, our final class for the Starknet developer Basecamp. It doesn't mean the 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 building ends here. It doesn't mean development ends here. We have plans for the future. And just before I talk at length about that, probably as we've closed today's session on Dojo, our trainer Dalmas can also share with us what plans are there for tomorrow. We had clearly indicated at the start of the classes that we will do an assessment so that we can evaluate the people who fully attended the sessions and can access certifications. Far away from certifications, also who can take part in our next stage of building in the Starknet Foundation. So Dalmas, you can just talk about that, and then you can also share something little about what Kiboko is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Harriet. So talking about what are the next plans uh, coming up, first and foremost, tomorrow we'll be having our test. The test will be up at about 6 p.m. EAT. So check it out, 6 p.m. EAT. I don't know what your time will be. So, but for EAT it's 6 p.m. Then
That will be 4 p.m. West African time.
okay.
Yeah.
So WAT is 4 p.m. So the link will be shared in the groups. That includes Kiboko DAO groups channel and also the BChain Africa channel. So check out the test, do it, and it will inform if you will be awarded with the certificate. as it was mentioned out clearly by the CEO of Bitchain. And also, next up is continue building. I urge you to continue building, and there are more rewards. There are many rewards in Starknet currently, starting from only dust. So use your Cairo skills, develop them further, use them to do contributions to a number of Starknet repositories and also Starknet projects, because different hackers or different people are building different projects. So you can find some projects that are awarding developers in terms of contributions. So that's a first thing to look at as your way of getting some reward. And another one is Starknet City Grants. So come up with projects that are helpful or projects that are solving some problem for a group of people. So it can be a game to bring people together to play. So use Dojo, or it can be just a symbody app, maybe to transfer funds or to help people do savings. So build your D app, do an MVP, then check out the Starknet site, starknet.io, and apply for the city grants. Your project might be selected for that. So check that one out. And also use currently some companies are employing Cairo native or Cairo developers. That's another opportunity for developers to check out. So advance your skills, check out companies like Nethermind. If there are openings, then try out that one. So lastly, I'd like to talk about Kiboko DAO. Kiboko DAO is a developer-centered, decentralized autonomous organization created by developers for developers. The reason as to why it was developed or created in the first place is to solve some problems developers face during development or even during marketing of their different products. So as developers, we help each other. The group is comprised of a number of people or devs from different categories. That includes normal smart contract development, that is backend and also front-end developers. It also comprises of marketers, community managers, and people to do with marketing and all those. So that's what Kiboko DAO does. So it will help you sort of, if you have a project, you bring it into the community. If you want some contributions, you want people to help you develop it out, just make people know that you have that project and you want it to be built. So you post it there, and people, the devs will start working on it. If it's for the devs, if it's for community managers, they'll pick it from where you have told them to pick it from, and they will sort of take care of your community side of things for your project. And if it's just the people to do with the Lego matters, so you want some Lego documents created for you, some all of those are available. We have guys from the Lego department or Lego category who can help you do that. And also, Kiboko DAO is currently running events. So that's another part or another portion that Kiboko, or another thing that Kiboko DAO does, running events. These events include normal event meetups, normal meetups. Maybe you have a meetup or you want to set up a meetup, you don't know how to, you can reach out to Kiboko DAO. Also events such as trainings, for example, this one that we have had with in collaboration with Bitchain. So that's something that Kiboko DAO does too. So we do run trainings. So the community is great. It's now growing, and I believe you can be among the first people, the first devs to join Kiboko DAO. So join today, and we grow together. So our main website is kiboko.org. So if you want to check out who we are further, get some links to our community. So kiboko.org is the website. Yeah, that's all from me. My name is Darmas, and I'm happy to have been involved in this training through from the start to the end. And we had another trainer today. That's Felix Awere. I think I let Felix talk a little bit about himself, maybe tell us who he is, and then we hand it back to Harriet. Thank you. Felix?
Okay, good evening once again. Felix Awere. An alumni of Web3 developer, and I'm a full stack blockchain developer. So, of course, as you guys have seen, Starknet is a very good investment to come through because uh, apart from every chain that I've been to, there is no chain that recognizes the talent or recognizes the developers the way Starknet does. So I would just like to urge each and every one of you to like. Of course, this is our last uh, lesson, but let's not stop from here. Let's go do more research, do more buildings, do more hacks, and yeah, at the end of the day, things are going to turn out to be great for all of us. Uh, Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Felix, for that. So I think I will let it flow back to Harriet.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for your input. Christopher, are you in? You can tell us something. All right. Seemingly Christopher is not available. So just before we wind up today's session, we would like to be very grateful for people who have shown commitment into this program. Like I said, when we started the program, my name is Harriet Odima. I'm the co-founder and CTO at Beach in Africa. Besides, I'm also a Web3 developer at Kiboko DAO. So Kiboko DAO and Beach in Africa, we work hand in hand, and we work in partnerships and collaborations to run this kind of programs. Talking about events, Beach in Africa will be running an event in a month's time, and this time round we are going to build on Starknet. It shall be an ideathon that will flow to hackathon. So in this hackathon, we'll have winners being rewarded with some bounty cash. So it will be so interesting to see the people who have taken part in this class also join our hackathon. So that means for the next 1 month, you don't have to relax, continue building on Starknet, as we shall also be building projects on Starknet to get projects that have some social impact to the society, that have diversity and inclusion, and see how you can build them on Dojo or just adapt on Starknet, because that is what we shall be doing on in a month's time. Towards the end of August, we'll communicate more details. If you are in our group, Beach in Africa, our community, you'll get more information there. You'll also get the information through the Kiboko DAO communities. Thank you so much. Beach in Africa is an ed tech startup with its parent company in Nigeria, and also we have presence in Kenya, where I am based. We focus on building capacity and facilitating knowledge transfer in matters Web3, crypto, and blockchain technology. Take your time to check out our socials, our website, Beach in Africa or Beach in Academy, is same to Twitter handle. You check us out with our name. And also on LinkedIn, you check us and follow us on what we are doing so that you can be part of this community. We'll always keep in touch with you. We'll communicate more, even through the emails. We have your email contacts. It is time that I should also take to appreciate our partner who has really enabled this program to be a success, and that is Starknet Foundation, has really facilitated in seeing that this program has come to a successful end. We are grateful to the Starknet Foundation, to Kiboko DAO, and also to Beach in Africa community. Oh, thank you so much. Let's wind up to today and this 12-hour training. It wasn't sufficient, but we encourage you to work. As we started this program, we said that it's always proper to work on projects in groups. So if you can find small groups like people from this class, you join 2-3 people and work on a product, it will be good even for the forthcoming hackathon. Like I've said, in hackathon, there are prizes that we'll be giving to the winners who will have built something that is has that touches the community, touches the society. So we'll be giving some cash prizes there. So thank you so much. We will end this session of today and just wind it up. As we connect tomorrow, it won't be, it will be an online session, but it won't be this specific session the way we've been connecting on website. More communication will be made again through the emails, through the social links, through our communities, Kiboko DAO, Beach in Africa. You'll get to understand how you'll do your tests. It will start at 4 p.m. West African time, that is 6 p.m. East African time, and it will be, you'll have 24 hours to do that test, just 24 hours. So it will close again on Friday, same time. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in your endeavors. Let's continue working together. Bye.
Bye.